Good morning, this is your media report from Monday, July the 6th, 2015. I'm Sergeant Lori McGee, Media Relations Officer for the St. John Police Force. From Friday morning, July 3rd until today's date, police have responded to 297 calls for service. We would like to hear from anyone that has any information concerning any of our calls or investigations. We can be reached at 506-648-3333, at our email police@stjohn.ca, or you can do it anonymously through the Provincial Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-8477 or on their website at crimemb.ca. On Monday morning at 10:44 a.m., a caller reports a suspicious person in the area of his residence on Hayes Avenue shortly after midnight, after hearing in the morning that his neighbors had their vehicles gone through and small items stolen. No description of the suspect was provided. At 12:34 p.m., police responded to a Loch Lomond Road residence where they had removed a male earlier in the day for a breach of the peace. A 45-year-old male was arrested for threats made towards his ex-common-law wife. As a result of the investigation, he was also arrested for break-and-enter, theft of a vehicle, and assault from the previous evening. He was held in custody for a court appearance. On Friday evening at 7:55 p.m., a 32-year-old female was arrested for theft after police received a call to the Walmart on Westmoreland Road regarding a shoplifter. She was released to appear in court at a later date. At 8:33 p.m., a 25-year-old male was being trespassed from Market Square. He was checked by police, and it was learned that the accused was on a court-ordered curfew. He was arrested and held in custody for a court appearance. At 8:59 p.m., a 28-year-old female was arrested for an outstanding theft after she was observed in Shoppers Drug Mart on Lansdowne Avenue. She was released to appear in court at a later date. At 11:53 p.m., police received a 911 call to a Sydney Street address. An intoxicated male was removed, and while being transported to another residence, police learned that he provided a false identity. The 54-year-old male was arrested for breaching of probation to abstain from alcohol. He was later released, and he will appear in court at a later date. On Saturday evening at 7:14 p.m., police received a call from the staff of a group home in Loch Lomond Road. They reported threats involving two of their male residents. A 17-year-old male was arrested for threatening a male and a female staff member. A 14-year-old youth was arrested for threatening the 17-year-old resident. Both were taken into custody. The 17-year-old male was released on conditions to appear in court at a later date, while the 14-year-old male was held in custody for a court appearance. At 10:19 p.m., caller reports that her vehicle was rammed several times by a female operator of another vehicle in the area of Seeley Street and Mount Pleasant Avenue. While stopped at the lights, the victim was then assaulted by the accused, who approached her vehicle and punched her in the face. The victim received minor injuries. She returned to the area of Broadway Avenue, where police were called. The accused, aged 26, was located and arrested for assault with a weapon, assault, and mischief. She was later released on conditions, and she will appear in court at a later date. At 12:14 a.m., police received a call of a male who left a party on the west side and believed to be intoxicated while driving. The vehicle was located and stopped on Manchester Avenue. The male operator, aged 54, showed signs of impairment, and he was subsequently arrested for impaired driving. He was later released, and he will appear in court at a later date. At 3:14 a.m., police received a call to a residence on Victoria Street for a female who had been struck in the head with a baseball bat. The victim, aged 39, suffered a cut to her forehead. She was transported to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. A 31-year-old female was later located and arrested for assault with a weapon. The accused was later released on conditions, and she will appear in court at a later date. On Sunday at 10:31 a.m., police were called to a Highland Road residence for a report of threats. A female reported her husband threatened her with a knife. A 64-year-old male was located outside the residence and arrested for threats. He was taken into custody and held for a court appearance. At 4 p.m., an officer observed a male walking on the Crown Street overpass, who he knew was wanted for an outstanding file. A 31-year-old male was arrested for 2 counts of possession of property obtained by crime. He was later released, and he will appear in court at a later date. At 4:30 p.m., police were called to a domestic disturbance on Carlton Street. A 47-year-old female involved in the domestic assaulted a police officer. She was arrested for assault and later released to appear in court at a later date. On Sunday evening at 10:33 p.m., police were called to the area of Kennard Street for people fighting. A 43-year-old female was arrested for an assault on another female she lived with. The victim received minor injuries, and the accused was later released on conditions, and she will appear in court at a later date. At 3:17 a.m., police received a call to the area of Peter Street for an assault. A 64-year-old male reports leaving a pub on Union Street on foot, and while on Peter Street he was assaulted by 2 women, one of whom had a weapon. The victim received facial injuries and cuts to his head. He was transported to the regional hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. It is not certain if all parties involved are known to one another, and the incident remains under investigation. This will conclude the media report for Monday, July the 6th. Have a great day and be safe.